Hello and welcome to Day 10 of the Disney Storybook Advent Calendar. Remember to like and subscribe so you never miss a video. For Day 10 we have Disney PIXAR COCO. Long ago in Santa Cecilia, the Riveras had a beautiful baby named Coco. The Riveras were a musical family, full of laughter and happiness. But when Coco's father left to follow his dreams of making music for the world, her mother, Imelda, banned music from the family forevermore. She also tore her husband's face from the family photo and pretended the man never existed. Then, to provide for her daughter, she learned to make shoes. As the years passed by, Imelda's family grew. Coco had a family of her own, including a great-grandson called Miguel. Coco and Miguel would spend many happy hours together, where she would talk about her past. However, as Coco got older, her memory began to fade. Miguel was a devoted great-grandson, but he had a secret that he didn't dare tell his family, not even Coco. Miguel loved music and wished to play his guitar in the talent show at Mariachi Plaza that very night. There was only one who knew his secret, his best friend, a street dog named Dante. Miguel's idol was the famous musician Ernesto de la Cruz, also from Santa Cecilia. He had many hits, including the beautiful ballad Remember Me. He tragically passed away before Miguel was born. Miguel longed to tell his family about his love of music, but he knew how they would react. Instead, he helped prepare for Dia de los Muertos, the Festival of the Dead. Miguel patiently listened as Abuelita explained the importance of the ofrenda, a sacred shrine. Placing a photo on the sacred shrine meant relatives who had died were able to come back and visit the living once more. Later that evening, Miguel sat in his attic, playing his homemade guitar and watching an old recording of De La Cruz. He then heard something from the TV that caught his attention. "When you see your moment, you mustn't let it pass you by. You must seize it," said the voice. Miguel jumped up. "No more hiding, Dante. I gotta seize my moment. I'm going to play in Mariachi Plaza if it kills me." Guitar in hand, he headed out of the attic. Miguel snuck through the house with Dante close behind. Crash! Dante had pulled some chicken off the shrine and knocked over a frame with a torn photo of Imelda, Coco, and Miguel's great-great-grandfather. It now lay broken on the floor. Miguel looked at the torn photograph. He noticed the man in the photo was holding De La Cruz's guitar. Miguel was stunned. "Ernesto de la Cruz is my great-great-grandfather!" Miguel placed the photo in his jacket and raced to find his family. With the knowledge of who his great-great-grandfather was, Miguel explained to them all about his love for music. "I want to be a musician," he announced. As Miguel began to play his guitar, a very cross Abuelita snatched it from him. "No music!" she cried, and smashed the guitar hard on the ground, breaking it into pieces. But Miguel was determined to play in the talent show. However, he would need a new guitar. An idea soon came to him, and Miguel ran straight to De La Cruz's tomb. Miguel saw the guitar hanging on the wall. "I need to borrow this," said Miguel, who gently lifted the guitar down and strummed a chord. As he played, glowing marigold petals floated up into the air and swirled around him. The young boy started to feel very strange. As Miguel left the tomb, he was greeted outside by Dante and a few others, namely all his relatives who had passed away. Not knowing why Miguel could see them, or why they could see Miguel, the family decided to take him to the land of the dead. "Mama Imelda will know what to do," said Papa Julio, Coco's husband and Miguel's great-grandfather. The Rivera family led Miguel across a beautiful bridge of glowing marigold petals. "Wow," said Miguel, who was amazed by the bright lights and peculiar-looking creatures of all shapes and sizes. The Riveras explained that these magical creatures were called spirit guides. Soon Miguel was introduced to Mama Imelda. She was confused as to why he was there and why he had her photo that should have been on the family shrine. Then Imelda held out a glowing petal. She explained that, with her blessing, this petal would allow Miguel to go back home and return the photo. There was one condition. "Never play music again," she cried. An unhappy Miguel ran off. Maybe, if he found De la Cruz, he would give him a blessing with no conditions at all. Outside, Miguel met a man named Hector who knew De la Cruz. The boy explained that he needed to find De la Cruz in order to get a blessing to go home. Hector agreed to help, but only if Miguel placed a photo of Hector on the shrine when he returned to Santa Cecilia. Miguel agreed. Hector was relieved, as this was his last chance to see his family before the final death. That was the fate that awaited all dead ancestors forgotten by their living family. Hector helped to disguise Miguel with makeup. Then they set off. Meanwhile, Imelda was using a spirit guide, Pepita, to track down Miguel. Blowing a magical mist on the ground, Pepita revealed a shoe print bearing an R. "It's a Rivera boot," called Papa Julio, thinking it must belong to Miguel. Pepita's magical mist revealed more footprints, and the Rivera family set off on Miguel's trail. As they went to find De la Cruz, Miguel and Hector learned of a talent show that was taking place. The winner would get to meet De la Cruz himself. It was soon Miguel's turn to perform. He jumped up on stage and began to play. The crowd loved him, and it wasn't long before Hector and Dante were dancing along next to him. Just then, the Riveras arrived. Hector realized that Miguel had a blessing this whole time. "You lied to me," he cried. "I'm taking you to your family." "You only care about yourself," shouted Miguel, who threw Hector's photo back at him. He then ran off once more. Eventually, Miguel found De la Cruz's home. A party was in full swing, but Miguel used his skills as a musician to get De la Cruz's attention. He walked toward De la Cruz, but tripped and fell into the pool. Miguel's makeup washed away as De la Cruz pulled him out. Miguel told the singer that he believed he was his great-great-grandson. "I need your blessing," he added. Ernesto de la Cruz placed Miguel on top of his shoulders. "I have a great-great-grandson," he proudly declared to the crowd of people. After the party, De la Cruz was about to send Miguel home with his blessing. Suddenly Hector arrived. "You said you'd take my photo back, Miguel," cried Hector. He then turned to De la Cruz, someone who, many years ago, Hector considered a close friend before things turned sour. He accused De la Cruz of stealing his songs. Miguel was shocked as De la Cruz snatched away the photo and had Miguel and Hector thrown into a deep pit. Hector told Miguel about his regret for leaving his family. "Remember Me" was a lullaby Hector had written for his daughter Coco so she wouldn't forget him. "You're my great-great-grandfather," realized Miguel, showing Hector the torn photo of Imelda and Coco. Miguel sat next to Hector and gazed up at the pit opening. A friendly face had appeared. It was Dante. Dante had led Imelda and Pepita straight to Hector and Miguel. Pepita swooped down and they climbed onto her back. Miguel apologized to Imelda. "I'm ready to accept your blessing, in your conditions. But first, I need to find De la Cruz, to get Hector's photo." He explained to Imelda that he needed to place Hector's photo on the shrine. Imelda had wanted to forget Hector had ever existed, but she agreed to help him. They hurried to confront De la Cruz. A struggle began, and despite snatching Hector's photo off De la Cruz, Miguel was thrown from the top of the building. Luckily, Pepita caught him. Unknown to De la Cruz, the whole scene was witnessed by his adoring fans, who quickly started booing their former idol. Miguel searched for the photo, but realized he dropped it when he was falling. Their last chance to save Hector had slipped away. Hector was now desperately clinging to life. He held out a glowing marigold petal. "You have our blessing, Miguel," he said. "No conditions. added Imelda. Before he knew it, Miguel was back in De La Cruz's tomb in Santa Cecilia. He grabbed the guitar and raced away to find Coco, in the hope she would remember her father before it was too late. When Miguel found Coco, he quickly told her about his adventures. "Remember, Papa? Please, if you forget him, he'll be gone forever." It was clear Coco was struggling to remember, so Miguel picked up the guitar and started playing Remember Me. Slowly, Coco's face lit up as the memories came flooding back to her. She remembered the song, and more importantly, her father. Miguel smiled. He knew that the memory of Hector was saved, and the Rivera family was once again united. Holding Hector's guitar, Miguel began to play. Once more, the Rivera's family's lives were filled with laughter, dancing, happiness, and most of all, music. Thank you for joining us for Day 10 of the Disney Storybook Advent Calendar. Make sure that you like and subscribe so you can come back and hear all the stories, and we'll be back here tomorrow with Day 11.